afternoon, everyone. And before I start, it's my duty to thank Nikesh Bhai for organizing such a good platform where I can share my knowledge with you related to the screening exam or what we call FMG. And I think I am clearly audible to all, and my slides would be visible to all. In case if there is any problem, you can just comment in the chat box, or you can connect to Nikesh. I think by now most of you must be knowing that what actually the content of FMG is, and what is the standard of FMG. Like particularly for those who are in first year, second year, third year, like by the time they would be moving back to India, I think FMG would be replaced by next exam. And what would be the pattern of next, that most of us don't know exactly yet, because the guidelines had not been framed yet. But those who are in fifth or sixth year, I think they must be having a good idea about FMG, which is conducted twice a year, and like there's a paper of 300 marks, out of which you have to score 50% to qualify. So there are two papers. One is mainly non-clinical, the other one is based on clinical subjects. So additively, out of including both of the two papers, you have to score 50%. So that is in brief about the exam as such. And for everyone, the studies are the integral part of your success. The earlier you start studying, better it is for you, because at the end of the day, and those who don't study nicely there, they have to struggle a lot here. And this we have seen over the years, because if you look at the passing percentage over the years, that just reflects the like the problem with the students, like those who waste their time in their medical school. When they come back to India, they really find it very hard to just wrap up the things, because the medical curriculum is really very extensive, and it's not a matter you can just wrap up in 6 months or 1 year. So the wiser persons are those who start studying from the earlier days of their medical school. So try to study as much as possible. And yes, I do agree with that. You don't have that particular that specific educational atmosphere over there what we have here in India. So that might be a factor, but still you have to sort out the things, because the more you study, the more it's good for you. And like I'll be just taking a short demo class, like what would be the way of teaching of mine. And this is just from my side, and I would like to have feedbacks or suggestions from your side, so that we can just change the presentation. And ultimately it's like the classes needs to be very student friendly, and the students they should have some interest in the classes. Then only it's worth doing so much. And for today's class, I have just kept a basic segment, like osteology of upper limb. And I think most of you must have gone through the osteology part, so I think you must be enjoying the class. And for like once we start the class properly, we can just frame the guidelines, like we can have a proper theory notes before the class. And you need to just come prepared. If you, because for classes, if you come prepared, I think you'll be gaining more. So instead of going for notes making, rather than going for notes making, it's better you read something, come prepared for the class, and let the class be like a kind of revision for you. So I'll be just explaining the things in a audio visual format, and hopefully that might just add up to your knowledge. So for today's class, I'll be taking basic.
Sir Nikesh,
uh
friend, अगर if anyone is not able to hear the sound, just restart, re-enter the group once again. Re-enter the group once again. And if anyone is from Crimea, you need to download VPN. everyone need to download VPN if anyone is from Crimea. Because of the Crimea sanction issue, there might be issues in joining, but restart once and re-enter the group. Re-enter the group, we will start the class again. Okay sir. Kamal Kabir sir, आप
We can. Uh,
okay.
okay, so like it's 2:15, so we can start the class again at 2:20. Nikesh?
Yes sir, you can continue sir, you can continue. There are few students from
Acha.
India not audible, so I have
Ha
asked them
ha
to
ha ha.
re-enter the group. They can re-enter the
ठीक
group
है,
and
right,
they will be
right,
audible.
right, right. Yes, yes. See, this is demo class, and like even I am using the Zoom app for the very first time, so it's more like getting well versed with what actually this Zoom is and how to conduct classes on this. So it's like learning phase for everyone. And yes, like whatever the things, whatever the problems you are getting right now, it's better you just connect to Nikesh and he will definitely sort it out. So going ahead, with the osteology of upper limb, I think the basic framework all of you must be knowing, like clavicle, then scapula, humerus, then ulna and radius, then 8 carpals, 5 metacarpals, 3 phalanges from index to little finger, and 2 phalanges in thumb. So this is the basic bony framework of upper limb, and we will discuss the bones one by one and their important uh, landmarks, particularly with reference to the exam. The very first bone which medical student is supposed to study is clavicle, and it is also known by the nickname like collarbone. And this is one bone which have plenty of peculiarities. Means, like if you look at the orientation, it is a long bone, but unlike other long bones in the body, it is in a transverse plane. So you can see the orientation, it is in a transverse plane. Otherwise, most of the long bones, they are always in a longitudinal or vertical plane. So it is the only long bone in the body which lies horizontally, and on either side it forms a joint. On the medial side, it articulates with the manubrium part of sternum following the sternoclavicular joint, and laterally it articulates with the acromion process of the scapula forming the acromioclavicular joint. So medially it is sternoclavicular joint, and laterally, I think I'm not like very good with the manipulation of the things, but I'll try. But from next class, I'll definitely make sure that the presentation goes smoothly. So on the medial side, you can see this is the clavicle and this is manubrium. So manubrium part of sternum bone. So this is sternoclavicular joint. Laterally, you can see this is acromion, and acromion connects with clavicle, and this joint is known as acromioclavicular joint. So medially sternoclavicular and laterally acromioclavicular. So these are the two articulations of clavicle. Now coming to the function of clavicle. What is the main function of clavicle? The main function of the clavicle is to transmit the weight of upper limb to the trunk. So it is just for transmission of the weight of the upper limb to the trunk, and it involves two ligaments which are of course a part of coracoclavicular ligament, the conoid part and the trapezoid part. And if you look at the word coracoclavicular ligament, now coraco word is for coracoid process of scapula, and clavicular is of course for clavicle. So this ligament, it helps in transmitting the weight of upper limb across the clavicle to the trunk. So function of clavicle is weight transmission of upper limb via coracoclavicular ligament, which has two parts, conoid as well as trapezoid. Now, usually when you take a transverse section of a long bone, you can see this outer part is cortex and this gray part is all medulla. So an outer hard bone, that is cortex, and inner soft part, that is medulla. But in clavicle, if you take a transverse section, rarely we see a medullary cavity. So clavicle being a long bone, most of the time it doesn't have a medullary cavity. So this is one more exception to clavicle, that it's not following the general rules of a long bone. Another exception to clavicle is that since most of the long bones in the body, they have a anchondral ossifications, like they develop from a cartilaginous model. But clavicle, it has a membranous ossification, that is, it ossifies by means of a membrane. So again, it is not following the general rules of long bone, because long bone usually they have a cartilaginous model for development or ossification, but clavicle being a long bone, it has membranous ossification, or it ossifies by means of a membrane. Like if you try to palpate clavicle, you can you can clearly palpate it throughout its extent. So this is because the bone is subcutaneous. Sub means below and cutaneous is the word for skin. So it simply lies beneath skin, and you can clearly palpate the prominence of clavicle throughout its extent. Otherwise, usually the long bones, they are enveloped by muscles, they are covered by muscles. So many times you cannot palpate the long bones through and through. But for clavicle, you can palpate it throughout its extent. So it is subcutaneous. And why it is very important for you people to know about clavicle, because clavicle is the most commonly bone fractured in the body. So out of all the bones, the maximum number of cases in orthopedics which comes to us is fracture of clavicle. So maximum or most common bone to fracture in body is clavicle. Now if you look here, now this is sternal and this is acromial and of clavicle. This is lateral one third and this is medial two third. So the most common site of fracture of clavicle is the junction of lateral one third and medial two third. So in almost all cases, we usually find the fracture line at this place. So lateral one third, medial two third, the junction is the most common place where there is fracture of clavicle. Again, if you look at the displacements of the fragment, the medial part is pulled up, whereas the lateral part goes down. So that is again very typical of the displacements of the fracture ends of clavicle. So most common site is junction of medial two third and lateral one third. Then coming to scapula, the bone which is at the back of our thoracic cavity. So you can see this is scapula, this is spine of scapula, which later on becomes acromion process. This is inferior angle of scapula, and the lateral angle is actually the glenoid cavity which articulates with the humerus. So this is glenohumeral joint. So location is posterior part of your thoracic cage. You can see the features very nicely here. This is acromion process, this is coracoid process, this is glenoid cavity, this is all scapular fossa, superior angle, inferior angle, this is lateral angle, which is actually a glenoid cavity or glenoid fossa. Now, so I think this is enough for the day, and it was just a kind of demonstration class. And I just want to orient you towards the possible way of teaching in further classes. And yes, if you have any suggestions, any feedback, you are always to share it with Nikesh. And I think we can make the classes more informative and more interesting for the students. And I think this is enough for the day. Nikesh, can you switch on your mic?
Yeah, hi sir. Sir, there was one just question of Shivani. She was asking the
Ha,
function of axillary nerve.
ha. Function of axillary
Axillary
nerve.
nerve, yeah.
Ha. See, axillary nerve, it supplies deltoid muscle, and deltoid muscle is responsible for abduction of upper limb from 15 to 90 degree. So if there is injury to axillary nerve, there would be paralysis of deltoid muscle. And if you look at your shoulder, you can feel the rounded prominence, and that rounded prominence is because of deltoid. So if axillary nerve is gone, the deltoid would be paralyzed, and the rounded contour of the shoulder would be lost. You can clearly feel the proximal part of humerus, because there would be no muscle mass all around. And functionally, if you tell the patient to abduct the upper limb, he can do it till 15 degree, but not till 90 degree, because 0 to 15 degree is a function of supraspinatus. So he can abduct till 0 to 15 degree, but not beyond that. And of course, you can check for that regimental badge sign.
Mhm. Thank you so much, sir. Or there is no more question apart from that. So all students,
Ah,
I will make a group of year-wise, like first year students in a
yeah,
first year group, and I will add Dr.
that would be
Kamal
better.
KV. Yeah, and I will add Dr. Kamal KV also in the group. So we will be
Ah,
posting about the further classes, how we will be conducting
mhm.
year-wise classes and which subject-wise.
Right.
And the feedback about this demo class, I will be waiting over the group. So I guess everyone was beneficial and everyone liked the group. Thank you so much, Dr. Kamal KV, sir.
My pleasure, gentlemen. My pleasure. And all thanks to Nikesh for taking this initiative. And really, like in this period of lockdown, I think nothing better can happen to me. I'm really very happy for this. Thank you, Nikesh. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, and thank you guys. आप लोग सारे लोग ऐड हुए, everyone added to this group, and आप लोगों ने इसका जो 40 minutes का क्लास था इसमें अपने कुछ जरूर से जरूर सीखा होगा. और I will just add you all in the group of year-wise, and please provide us with the feedback how you like the classes, and we will be posting about the further classes on the same group. Thank you guys. Take care of yourself. Stay home. Stay safe. Bye bye.